I started considering this Janome machine for review, the cost bothered me. After using this machine extensively in my shop, I find that it's one of the better values I've ever had. Like most of you, I got a budget to stick with, and I bought this machine myself. This machine features a large backlit LCD screen. This whole control panel is well thought out and makes it easy to select the functions that you need. The well-written instruction manual along with the DVD explains the use of these buttons very well. Between the presser feet normally shipped with this machine and those in the quilting kit that comes with it, we get a good selection of feet that handles just about any job we can think of. All of the presser feet are very well made and work great. Right out of the box, the working surface serves most sewing needs well. And that includes a removable section that exposes the free arm. Most of my work has at least 3 layers of fabric, and they fit through this free arm easily. Part of the quilting accessory kit included with this machine is this extension table that expands the work surface a bunch. I pretty much have this table in place whenever I'm not using the free arm. And all 4 legs are adjustable in case the surface isn't perfectly flat. This machine comes with 120 stitches and 7 automatic buttonhole routines. And we can adjust all those as needed through this touchpad. Janome includes this plastic card that shows all of the different stitches. The stitches in the shaded boxes have special capabilities that are explained in the instruction manual. We also get 3 fonts that let you do some lettering on the machine. Just remember that this is still a sewing machine, not an embroidering machine, so your lettering capabilities are limited. Janome includes a way to adjust the pressure exerted by the presser feet. For some reason, this feature seems to be absent from a growing number of lesser machines. But never fear, you can tweak the Janome machine as you need. We also get a simple dial with which to adjust the upper thread tension. The Janome has the lay-down spool holder that is very common in machines today. Graphics are printed on the machine to help guide you through setting up for different operations. We all have to wind bobbins, and Janome provides us with a system that's fast, easy to use, and very consistent. When you get the thread in the bobbin, put it on a post and then snap it over to the stop. The graphic changes to show you that you're in bobbin winding mode. The stop on my machine was adjusted to the way that I like bobbins to fill, but you can adjust this if necessary. Threading this machine is just simple as following the graphics printed on the case. My biggest problem was I thought it was too easy and I thought I was missing something. We have to make sure that the thread goes past the little clip in the take-up arm to make sure it stays in there. There's 2 guides for the thread underneath here, but they're both easy to get to. I like the way this keeper loads from the side because it makes it a lot easier to get the thread in there. Next we pull the threading mechanism down and it clicks into place. Next we bring the thread under this little arm and then slide it up the needle through the other holder. There's a clip on the other side for holding the thread there. Next, just lift the threading device up and it pulls a loop through the needle. And that's all there is at getting the top thread in place. When we shot this part of the video, I've been using this machine for a couple of months. In all that time, this threading mechanism has never failed me. To insert a fresh bobbin, make sure that the thread is coming off the left side of the bobbin. Then just set it in its cavity, making sure that it sits all the way down. Use one finger to hold a little bit of tension on the bobbin so when we pull the thread across, it goes under that little arm. And then pull a couple inches of thread out towards the back of the machine and put the cover on. There's just one more step to getting the machine ready to actually sew. While holding the upper thread, we need to push this up-down button twice. That cycles the needle down and then back up, and that picks up the bobbin thread. Gently pull on the upper thread, and it pulls the loop back out underneath the shoe. We need to catch that loop and just pull it out, and that finishes threading the machine. Once you do it a few times, you can thread this machine in a whole lot less time than it takes to explain it. And you don't have my hands in the way, so you can actually see what's going on. Most of the work I do with this machine involves this 3-layer sandwich I use for my wing bags. There's a layer of canvas, batting, and flannel on the inside. The Janome walking foot that comes with this machine is on the machine pretty much all the time. The Janome walking foot is great at keeping all 3 of these layers moving at the same pace. I've used other good walking feet on other machines, and while they work, the Janome seems to work better. Despite all the layers, the stitching always remains nice and consistent, and it holds true when we're assembling the project and could be stitching through 6 or 9 layers of fabric. That consistency lets me breeze through projects knowing that my seams will come out strong and good looking. If you make buttonholes, the Janome makes that very easy. Presser foot measures the button and sets everything up so you get the right size buttonhole automatically. Set a button in the holder, slide it closed, and that ensures getting the right size buttonhole. Okay, we do have to snap the buttonhole foot in place. That part of it's not automatic. The last mechanical tasks are making sure that the button foot is free and we slide the button lever down. That's it. This machine comes with several automatic buttonhole routines that are shown on the card. And for those, we need to go to mode 2 and just push the button. And I'll select the basic buttonhole because they're all fully automatic. We just watch them happen. And to start with, we won't adjust anything about the buttonhole. Rather than use the foot controller, I'd unplug that and just use the start-stop button because we just start it and it stops on its own. There really isn't anything for us to do but watch. This is going to make a standard plain old buttonhole, and we'll come back to this a little later. But let's look at what we can do to the buttonhole. This is the same buttonhole, but we'll tweak it a little bit. Here I'm just increasing the density of side stitches, and we'll widen out the side stitches a little bit. And we'll make this buttonhole next to the one we did before, and here again we just push the button and wait for it to get done. And after tweaking a couple of buttons, we get the same size buttonhole, but we got to modify it a little bit. The buttonhole on the right is the one we made standard. The one on the left is one that we modified. They're the same size, fit the same button, but they look a little different, and they do that so we can make ourselves feel good about making automatic buttonholes. One of this machine's really nifty tricks is being able to combine several different stitches. We can program them to run one after the other or certain numbers of each one. The possible combinations probably are endless, but we'll take a little look at how this is done. I always keep the stitch card handy so I can see the ones that I might want to put together. First I switch to mode 3 where the switches I want to use are. And I punch the stitch number in this case 63. Push memory and that stitch is saved. To run another copy of that stitch, just push memory again. And we push memory for as many times as we want that one stitch to repeat. Enter the next stitch number and press memory for the number of copies I want to add. I just hold the foot control down and the machine will keep repeating that selection of stitches as long as I continue sewing. It goes through the sequence I programmed in and then repeats that as long as we keep sewing. We can also keep programming the same stitch into the machine but alter its size or some other characteristic. And the machine will keep stitching those out. With many of the stitches we can use the mirror command to change the direction of the stitch. We can get some interesting stitch effects by alternating between the standard and the mirrored version of the same stitch. If you're looking to increase the capabilities of your sewing machine, you need to look at this offering from Janome. No, it's not cheap, but it's very well made. Just as important is despite the list of capabilities, this machine is surprisingly easy to use. And that comes from thoughtful design, engineering, and manufacturing. My sewing budget is as tight as anybody's. That just makes the value this Janome machine brings to my shop more important.